Missing Explorer menu options for 7-zip. Just reinstalling 7-zip, v.9.2, to a new system, and I cannot find the context menu option in Explorer. In the 7-zip options there is no plugins tab, as detailed in the documentation, to change this setting. Any idea how to get the Option Explorer functionality working? I'm on Windows 7 64-bit.
First you need to start 7-zip as administrator the first time you run it to assign the context menu option. Otherwise 7-zip does not have the right to change anything. I don't know why 7-zip does not do this during install when it already has admin rights, but I always need to do this after installing 7-zip. Then go to Extra, Options. In the first tab, System, you can choose what files you want 7-zip to associate with, and in the second tab, 7-zip, you can choose the context menu option, first checkbox.
You are probably using the 32-bit version on a 64-bit OS. Uninstall it and install the 64-bit version. I have done this several times and that solution works for me.
If you're using the correct bitness of 7-zip and have the correct settings set but it still doesn't work, then it may be that the wrong Explorer shell extension is enabled. It turns out that even with 64-bit 7-zip installed you can end up with 32-bit shell extension enabled, possibly a hangover from previous 32-bit install. To fix this, download and unzip ShellXView x64 version from the NERSoft website. Run it and make sure Options and GT, Show 32-bit shell extensions, is ticked. Sort by description column and look for 7-zip shell extension. If you find 7-zip context menu extension and the file name column shows 7zip32.dll, and it is enabled, then you should right-click and disable selected items. Then untick Options and GT, Show 32-bit shell extensions, and find the 7-zip context menu extension again. File name should be 7zip.dll, and enable it. This is the 64-bit one. Then close all Explorer windows, click Options and GT, restart Explorer, and then open a new folder window and right-click on a zip file. Assuming the 7-zip settings and associations are set up, the context menu should now show. This was the only thing that worked for me. Even using the 64-bit version of 7-zip, and running the installer as admin, and running 7-zip as admin and AMP, changing the settings, it still didn't work until I did this.
I ran into the same issue with missing 7=zip context menus on a 64-bit system. Had first installed 32-bit and later 64-bit and kept trying to enable the context menus and they did not appear. I resolved this from Windows Programs and Features by 1. Uninstalling the 32-bit version. 2. Selecting Repair on the 64-bit version.